Before we go any further on the subject of using Klaro to track the teamwork book reviews that I introduced in the previous video, I'm going to give a quick tour of the Klaro user interface, looking at it from left to right. Here, on the far left-hand side, you have a list showing all your Klaro projects. Your Klaro account can host as many projects as you need to track different teams, processes, and ideas. You can access any project by clicking on its icon. If you have more than 10 projects, then this button opens a pop-up showing them all. To create a new project, you click on this button right at the bottom. This sidebar, which you can open and close with the widget next to it here, displays at the top the name of the open project, a link to project settings, I'll come back to this later, a list of workspaces, which we will cover more in a future video, and as we saw in the previous video, a list of boards that are different views of your cards. For example, the Kanban board and the team load board showing the workload per team member. Next, along from the left, we are in a board itself, and we have filters that help you choose to display certain cards and know which cards the board is displaying. Next, we have the three main views: column, list, and grid. Then we have a menu that allows you to choose which dimension defines the card colors that are shown here. For example, by progress, by kind, or by any dimension that has an associated color. In certain views, notably this Kanban view, you can choose which dimension defines the columns on display. We've already looked at this in a previous video. On the right-hand side, there is the search box. Searching looks for both the text in the cards, here I'm searching for the author Aurelius, and for the values of the dimensions. For example, if I know that some cards are assigned to Victor and I search Victor, it will find those cards. Now, at the bottom of the page, we have summaries for each column, including the possibility to give totals if you have numeric dimensions. Right at the bottom, there is a list of keyboard shortcuts available depending on the view of Klaro that is currently displayed on your screen. Here, in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a chat box you can use to communicate with the Klaro team to ask questions or submit feedback and ideas. Going back to the very top, we have the name of the board currently displayed. Then we have the board settings, in which you will find a list of different tools controlling how the board acts and what it displays. We'll look at this in more detail in a future video. We have an export feature that allows you to export either in a format compatible with Google Calendar or similar calendar software, or as a .csv file. We're going to add more export formats in the future. Next, we have the option to invite other people to join the board. This will be covered in more detail as we progress further in the video series. Here we have permissions that are linked to the workspaces listed. This feature allows you to control various levels of access to boards on the basis of subgroups of the project's team. These subgroups are reflected by what is known in Klaro as workspaces. Next, we have a message that pops up as soon as you change anything in a particular view. That allows you to save this new view as a new board if you wish. Once something changes, a little orange dot appears here and a link pops up that allows you to save the view as a new board, just like we did in the previous video to create the Kanban and team load boards. Lastly, in the top right-hand corner, there is a menu displaying your profile, your email preferences, your project preferences, which allows you to choose which project acts as your landing page when you log in, and also your language preference, and your billing settings that cover your current Klaro subscription. We've only covered the features on this screen, but if we now go into the project settings, we find a list of all dimensions and a series of tools to edit them, and also to add new ones. There's also a list of members. For the moment, these are virtual members, but we can invite them to join the project at any time. A list of workspaces and global settings, which we saw briefly in an earlier video, including the name of the project, a project logo if you like, plus region and language settings. And the danger zone, which allows you to delete all cards, change template, or delete the project. We have just completed the tour of the Klaro interface, which will help you as we drill further down into particular features in future videos.